The truth about love is that it's raw, it's real, and it doesn't always make sense. The most painful thing is loving someone and pretending you don't. The longer you hide the truth, the harder it becomes to admit what you really feel. The most freeing thing you can do is admit the truth about your heart. Lying about love is like holding your breath. Eventually, you have to exhale. Love is not about choosing the easiest path, but the most authentic one. It's not until you face the truth about who you love that you truly understand the depth of your feelings. The truth might hurt at first, but it always leads to clarity. Pretending to love someone else only drags you further from the love you really deserve. Loving truthfully means embracing all of its messiness without hiding behind lies. Sometimes the truth of who you love is more complicated than the story you tell yourself. The real love you need is the one you've been too afraid to admit. Truth in love doesn't mean perfection. It means accepting the reality of your feelings. The truth is always more beautiful than the lies you've been telling yourself. Sometimes you have to tear down the walls of your own self-deception to let the truth in. Lies may protect your heart, but they also keep you from truly loving. The hardest truth to admit is the one about who you really love, but it's also the most freeing. Admitting the truth about love requires courage, but it gives you strength in return. When you stop lying about love, you begin to see things clearly. The truth about love is that it's never as simple as we want it to be, but it's always worth the fight. We lie about love because we're afraid of the consequences of the truth. You can only go truthfully once you stop pretending to be someone you're not. The most powerful thing you can do is stop lying about who you truly care for. Love is messy, confusing, and beautiful, but denying it only makes it more difficult. The truth about love is that it's not always easy, but it's always honest. Loving someone doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be true. The more you run from the truth, the more you find yourself trapped in a lie. The ugliest truth about love is that we often lie to ourselves because we don't want to face it. Lying about who you love only leaves you stuck in a cycle of confusion and self-doubt. The truth about love is that it's a journey, not a destination. Lies only complicate love, making it harder to find the clarity you need. Sometimes the hardest thing is not facing the truth, but accepting it once you do. The only thing more painful than the truth is never admitting it. Loving the right person means letting go of the lie you've been telling yourself. It's not always about who you love. It's about being brave enough to acknowledge it. The most freeing thing you can do is embrace the truth about your feelings. Sometimes the hardest part about love is realizing that the truth was there all along. Lies prevent us from experiencing the full depth of love. The truth about love isn't about making sense. It's about making peace with what's real. The longer you deny the truth about love, the more you distance yourself from what you need. You can't truly love until you stop lying about your feelings. In love, the truth is both the most painful and the most healing thing you can face. The truth about love is that it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Lies can never protect your heart. They only keep it locked away from the truth. Real love doesn't hide behind excuses or fears. It faces the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. The hardest love to admit is the one that challenges everything you thought you knew. In the end, the only love worth holding on to is the one you stop lying about. Love is about more than just words. It's about showing up and being honest with your heart. The truth about love isn't always easy to digest, but it's always worth the revelation. The only thing harder than facing the truth about love is living in denial. Lying to others about love is easy, but lying to yourself is the real challenge. When you stop lying about love, you allow space for the truth to change everything. The truth is the only thing that can heal the wounds created by our lies. Loving without lies is the purest form of love you can experience. The more you hide the truth about love, the more it holds power over you. Lies about love may seem safe, but they keep you from the happiness you deserve. The moment you stop lying to yourself about who you love is the moment you begin to live fully. Truth in love doesn't mean having all the answers. It means embracing what is real. The truth about love is that it's always more complicated than you think, but it's also more freeing. The hardest part about love is admitting to yourself who you truly feel it for. Sometimes, the person we love the most is the one we least expect. We often lie to protect the people we care about, but in the process, we lose ourselves. The truth of who we love can be the most painful thing to confront. Our hearts can be the most honest part of us, yet we hide our true feelings out of fear. Loving someone isn't always clear or simple, but hiding the truth makes it even harder. The biggest lie we tell is to ourselves about who we are really in love with. Truth in love often comes in waves, and it's never as gentle as we hope. When you stop pretending, you can finally find the courage to love freely. Lying about who you love only leaves you lost in a world of uncertainty. Sometimes you have to lose yourself to finally find the truth of what you really feel. The ugly truth about love is that sometimes it's not who we expect, but what we need. True love doesn't need to be hidden or explained, it simply exists. Pretending to love someone else often results in hurting both your heart and theirs. The pain of truth always outweighs the burden of lies in the end. Love isn't always about choosing the perfect person. Sometimes it's about embracing what's real. The heart knows the truth long before the mind can process it. Loving someone and lying about it are two different kinds of pain. When you admit the truth, you give your heart the freedom it's been waiting for. Fearing the truth only keeps us chained to the lies we tell ourselves. Love isn't always easy, but pretending about it is the hardest thing to do. The more you hide your feelings, the louder they scream inside. Sometimes love forces you to look at the ugliest truths about yourself. When you finally admit who you really love, you begin to heal from the lies. The truth is often a painful thing, but it sets us free from the weight of pretending. We lie about love because we fear what admitting it might cost us. The heart knows where it belongs, but the mind often fights it with excuses. Sometimes, the most painful truth is realizing who you truly love and why you've been denying it. Loving someone isn't always easy, especially when you're too afraid to face the truth. When you're honest with yourself about love, it feels like the first breath after drowning. The most beautiful truth about love is that it's never too late to be honest about it. Lying about love never leads to happiness, only to more questions. The truth about love is often more complicated than the lie we've been telling. You don't know real love until you're brave enough to be honest about it. The moment you stop hiding your love is the moment you start living fully. Truth in love isn't always pretty, but it's always necessary. The biggest lie we tell is pretending to love the wrong person out of fear. Love is never about perfection. It's about embracing the truth, no matter how ugly it seems. The lies we tell about love are just walls we build to protect our fragile hearts. Real love doesn't need to be explained. It simply needs to be accepted. Sometimes we lie because we're afraid that the truth will ruin everything we thought we knew. Loving the right person doesn't always make sense, but denying it makes everything else harder. The ugly truth is that sometimes the person you truly love is the one you were never supposed to. The more you try to suppress the truth, the more it forces its way to the surface. Honesty in love is like breathing. It's uncomfortable if you've been holding your breath too long. Loving someone and not admitting it is the hardest kind of self-deception. The only thing harder than telling the truth is living with the lie. Sometimes the truth of who you love isn't about choice. It's about recognizing what your heart has always known. It's only when we face the truth about love that we can start healing from the lies we told ourselves. The ugliness of truth is always less damaging than the beauty of a lie that keeps you trapped. Love is messy, love is complicated, but love is never a lie when it's true. The lie we tell is often easier to believe than the truth we're too afraid to confront. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it also sets you free to love in ways you never thought possible. You can only love truthfully when you stop pretending and allow yourself to be vulnerable. The truth always comes out in the end, but it's up to you whether you face it now or later. Loving someone without admitting it is like living in a prison of your own making. Facing the truth about love is the only way to embrace it fully. Lies only hold you back from the love you deserve to experience. It's the hardest thing to admit, but sometimes the person we truly love is the one we least expect. In the end, the only love worth having is the one you stop lying about.